Wow. Wow. I am speechless. That was a great hockey game. The Vancouver Canucks defeat the Montreal Canadiens 5-2, and I know we've got the Canucks fans in here, I know we've got the Canadiens fans in here, but I'm gonna say it right now, both of these teams played just awesome games. This was a really good one, and I think if you're a Canucks fan or a Canadiens fan, whether you're a fan of the team that won or lost, there was significant value you could have gathered from this Sunday night showdown. Both of these teams coming off the second half of back-to-backs. Montreal beat the Bruins yesterday in overtime. Vancouver lost to Toronto in a pretty embarrassing fashion, not gonna lie. So even though both of these teams technically had scheduled losses on their timelines, they both played like they knew the other team had a scheduled loss, if that makes sense. There was so much pace, so much energy, such a good vibe to this game that even if you weren't a hockey fan in general, you probably would have watched this, you would have seen the opportunities, you would have seen the chances, you would have seen the two best players of tonight's action. I'm gonna go out there and say it, Jake Allen and Casey DeSmith. What a goaltending battle in this one. Before we get over with any of the goals, any of the celebrations here, Casey DeSmith, the victor in this night, had 31 saves on 33 shots for a .939 save percentage. Jake Allen, on the other hand, he had 30 saves on 33 shots, a .909 save percentage. You could see the score, Vancouver wins 5-2, and it kind of is a bit misleading because two of the goals Vancouver scored were empty nets, and one of the goals the Canadiens scored was with 40 seconds to go in between those empty nets, for crying out loud, but the Vancouver Canucks still squeak out here with the win on Hockey Fights Cancer Night in Montreal. The Bell Center was electric. They had all the lights during the anthems. It was a really great celebration, and they had the kids on the ice really putting a face to the cause of Hockey Fights Cancer. It was just extraordinarily well done. Good on the Montreal Canadiens for doing this the way they did. But when the game started, this is when everything started to go. Because right away in the first period, you had Juraj Slafkovsky have a 2-on-1 opportunity where he completely fans on the shot. I'll admit Slafkovsky started off really shaky in this one, but he did get much better as the game went on with his positioning and his playmaking. The first period, though, was filled mostly with just some back-and-forth chances. There was Tanner Pearson, former Canuck, and Casey DeSmith trade piece, who had a brilliant chance off the wing that hit the post, but the goal horn rang, so the guy up there controlling the bell accidentally thought it went in, but either way, great pace in this first period, and Casey DeSmith had to stand tall. Pia Sutar had himself an opportunity to put the puck in an open goal, but he misses. It was a pretty unfortunate thing there. Both teams, I'll admit, even though they played with great pace in the first period, it was overall a pretty sloppy one at both sides towards the end there. Maybe that's just what happens when you have two teams on the second half of back-to-backs playing against each other. But that first period was pretty entertaining, and that carried over into the second. The Canadiens started out this second period with a bunch of opportunities too, but it culminates with the Canucks actually getting a few injuries themselves. Tyler Myers kind of gets tangled up in the corner and he looks like he gets hurt. Just a few seconds later, Slafkovsky takes a shot. It's blocked by Carson Soucy. He ends up leaving the game because of that, and he does not return. So RIP to my fantasy team, Carson Soucy getting taken out there. But shortly after, the Vancouver Canucks are able to make it 1-0 as Hughes throws a long pass over to the right side for JT Miller. Miller streaks down the wing and then throws it out in front for Conor Garland with a crisp backhand pass. Garland makes no mistake. It's similar to his first goal on the year. He puts the backhand right by Jake Allen. It's 1-0 Vancouver at around the halfway mark of this game. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Garland from Miller and Hughes. Of course, these are two of the top 3-point scorers on the Vancouver Canucks. The other one, Elias Pettersson, happens to be his birthday today. He didn't get any points tonight, which is crazy. But 1-0 is the score here, but it shortly afterwards becomes 1-1 because the Montreal Canadiens are able to take advantage of a bunch of space in the Canuck zone, and it's Christian Dvorak who takes a long drive. It gets by everybody. Juraj Slafkovsky's the screen in front of the Smith, and it's a tie game 1-1 just minutes after the Garland goal. But no, it's not actually, because the goal was taken back offside. Cole Caulfield, unfortunately, just a stride over the line once Juraj Slafkovsky took it in on the zone entry. So there you go. It's still 1-0. This Dvorak goal does not count. And whilst the Canucks had this momentum from getting the call going their way, they score immediately after. Jake Allen loses his stick on an unfortunate play to the side. Caden Gooley ends up tripping over Allen's stick, which causes it to go down low. And as the Canucks end up leaving the Montreal zone, Jake Allen is not able to retreat and get his stick because it's behind the net, and he doesn't have enough time. The Canucks are able to come right back. Kuzmenko sends it off to Mikheyev, who walks the line before entering the zone himself. He rips a shot on goal, and it goes right by Jake Allen, who does not have his stick. He goes far side on the glove side on a beautiful play, so it's 2-0 Vancouver here at about the halfway point of the game still. The Habs then get themselves a penalty on the very next shift. It's Mike Matheson. First power play of the game for Vancouver, and it looks great. My goodness, Boeser had 2 fantastic opportunities in tight. Almost the full 2 minutes were spent by Vancouver just throwing it around and getting opportunities, but the Habs end off killing it. It's a great shift for both teams. And eventually the chances, they don't stop there. You have Sam Lafferty, who centers it right through the crease, and Anthony Beauvillier isn't there to put it in. A few minutes after that, though, Vancouver goes out and makes it 3-0 thanks to Conor Garland and his absolute beastly play. He goes blitzing around the offensive zone, gets like 3 shots in the same segment, drives down low, steals the puck, comes out with a backhander, follows up on the rebound, and it's Dakota Joshua on the finish who makes it 3-0 with 2 minutes to go in the second period. Now, at the same time, even though Jake Allen was making a few great saves here, he let a few in, but of course he made some great stops. You had Casey DeSmith towards the end of the second period making a brilliant save too, as Teddy Bluger ends up having a terrible giveaway right to Brendan Gallagher in the Canucks zone. This ends up with a breakaway, and DeSmith stonewalls Galley with the glove right after. That concludes the second period. The third period gets underway with some more opportunities for the Canucks. This Bluger and Lafferty line just putting in work on their first shift. This third period, though, is where I feel Casey DeSmith really started to shine. He robbed Josh Anderson in front. The Canucks then took a penalty. It was Tyler Myers on that same play. And then you had a Cole Caulfield one-timer on that left side that Casey DeSmith was able to stop too. The Canucks take themselves another penalty whilst short-handed, so it's 48 seconds of 5-on-3, and the Habs score after some shenanigans with a bunch of people losing their skate blades. But it's fine, because whilst on the 5-on-3, the goal scored by Mike Matheson ends up coming right when the first penalty expired, so that negated the second one. It's 5-on-5 immediately after. It's 3-1 in the game. And, I mean, look, there was a conversation to have about too many men because Nick Suzuki lost his skate blade and he was kind of hobbling to the bench, was not able to get out on time even though the 5th Canadiens guy was already on the ice and involved in the play. But the Canucks get themselves their own power play immediately after, too, after even more amazing stops by Jake Allen, Andrei Kuzmenko centering it to Mikheyev, and Mikheyev getting robbed out in front, too. The Canucks' power play in the third period was good as well. Elias Pettersson dangling around Kovacevic, centering it for Boeser. Great shot in tight, but another save by Allen. You then have Phil Giuseppe getting robbed by Allen too later on. But that is not enough as the Vancouver Canucks eventually score on the empty net. It's Brock Boeser, Dakota Joshua with the assist to make it 4-1 Vancouver. But, as you can tell from the score, this is not all she wrote, because with 40 seconds to go in the third period, it is Arber Xhekaj who ends up coming in with a shot that beats everybody. It gets around Juleson, it gets around the goaltender DeSmith, it's off the post in the back of the net and out quickly. It's a 4-2 game, and then the Vancouver Canucks score on the empty net after their second empty net goal of the night. Boeser to Miller in front for Giuseppe. It is 5-2 your final score. Just a great hockey game in general. This was one where you could feel the energy throughout. It's unfortunate Elias Pettersson did not get a point, and it's unfortunate that both of these teams had to lose, honestly. Like, the Canadiens played a good enough game that I feel could have justified a win. They just couldn't beat Casey DeSmith for the majority of this game. And the early goal they did have was disallowed. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Canucks beating the Canadiens 5-2 on Hockey Fights Cancer Night here on Sunday? I hope you enjoyed this video. And Bye.